Hello YouTube, this is the second part of my MLB Playoff predictions segment. This part, of course, is the National League part of it. Same thing as the last one, the division winners, the wild card winners, reasons as to why I think they'll finish with that record, and all that sorts of background included. Number one, representing the NL East, I have the Atlanta Braves. To me, despite their kind of lack of star power and stuff like that, I just feel like they're a very, very consistent baseball team. Despite maybe teams like the Dodgers getting hot, they've still made it through and kept their number one seed. They win the games they're supposed to win, and then some. Don't beat themselves. I just think they're going to hold on. They're 2 games ahead of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I think they keep the number one going into the MLB postseason. Number 2, I have winning the NL West. I have the Los Angeles Dodgers. To me, they're kind of like the National League version of the Tigers. They have one of the best lineups in baseball. Great pitching staff, as I always allude to in my Dodger playoff chances video. I hope you guys can check that out. But between Kershaw, Nolasco, Capuano, and Nolasco and Capuano are their more bottom end starters. And then Greinke, you add him in as the number 2, and then the other guy, don't know how to say his name, but the lefty, their number 3. Very solid pitcher. So when you look at their pitching, it's definitely one of the better staffs in the game. Plus their innate ability to score runs consistently, and this is all without their franchise player Matt Kemp. So just get him back. Never mind maybe him producing like he was, say, in like a breakout year like he had in 2011, but just his presence and being back, and another bat you got to respect. Couple that with Hanley Ramirez, Carl Crawford, Yasiel Puig, Andre Ethier, Adrian Gonzalez. You can't get much better than that. And those guys are already hitting the baseball so well, putting up runs on the scoreboard so well. That's all without Matt Kemp, their franchise player. So just think of how dangerous this team could really be. I think they'll stay number 2 because despite all their efforts and that huge winning streak, the Braves still held number 1. I think the Braves are just very, very consistent. So I think they get number 1, Dodgers number 2. Number 3, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates out of the NL Central. I look at them, they have a great pitching staff, especially the top half of it. 1 to 3, you got Burnett pitching fantastic this season. Liriano pitching great this season as the number 2, or he might be the 3. And then you have a guy like Locke, very solid pitcher, very consistent pitcher. So, like I said with the Rangers, they're 1 to 3. If you catch those 3 in a series, that's very tough. In totality, very solid pitching. The thing that did concern me, in terms of winning that 3 spot and getting that home field for the first round, was their lineup. I think they've gotten shut out 10 times this season. I think it was 9 or 10 times. This season. That's a worry because, outside of a guy like Andrew McCutchen, they don't overall have a lot of bats in that lineup. But what they do is they go out from the Mets, they get John Buck, who is maybe not the most consistent hitter, but he's a solid hitter. Another bat off the bench if Russell Morton fails to produce. And that aids in depth. And then you add Marlon Byrd, who is having a very good season for the New York Mets. Add him in there, and then Justin Morneau, who's having a very resurgent season, getting back to his old form. That's 2 bats that I just mentioned that are middle of the lineup bats. You add those into a lineup that at sometimes struggles and is quite inconsistent. That makes them more of a formidable hitting team to go along with that great pitching. I think that this team will finish with winning that division. Tough division, with the top 3 teams all being very formidable, to say the least, but I think they'll finish with the number 3 seed, number 1 in the NL Central. 2 wild cards. Winning the first wild card, 4 seed, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. Very consistent baseball team. Only a game back of the Pirates. So don't be shocked now if the Cardinals finish with the 3, the Pirates finish with the 4. Excuse me. But they're a very solid hitting team. I mean, even after Albert Pujols left, solid hitting teams like, John Jay, David Freese, Alan Craig, Matt Holliday, Carlos Beltran, Yadier Molina, who's, to me, in my eyes, I think he's an MVP candidate, having a great year. So all those solid players, and all of them can hit as well. And, anybody else I might have forgot, that's just all guys off the top of my head to show you, that it's a deep lineup. Add that with the fact they don't beat themselves. They pitch very well. They're very consistent. They're not a team that's going to just go on this big losing streak. They just go out and they play hard every night. Much like I said with the Braves, only I think they have probably a stronger hitting team, more consistent hitting team than that of the Atlanta Braves. But I have them at number 4 just because I feel like the Pirates have the better pitching. And despite being a lesser hitting team, they're already ahead. Now that you make those additions to solidify your lineup offensively, I think the Pirates finish slightly ahead. But don't be shocked now if the St. Louis Cardinals don't finish ahead, just because these two teams are neck and neck. Very talented teams, very good teams. Both can do it all. And now, of course, like I alluded to just a few seconds ago, is that the Pirates, of course, they solidified their lineup, which is the one weakness of their ball club. So to round it out, I have number 5, second wild card, I have the St. Louis Reds, who, to me, I think they're just all around a solid team. They could use a little more production from their lineup because Votto having another very good season. But just the overall consistency of their lineup can make improvements. Not that it's a bad lineup. Could just make consistency improvements. But, I don't really look at it as much as that. I just look at it more as the St. Louis Cardinals are their kryptonite. They don't seem like they win the big games or the big series against the St. Louis Cardinals. They don't seem like they get ahead of the Cardinals for too much. The Cardinals just seem to have their number, so I just think the Cardinals are going to finish ahead. Not to say that the Reds can't finish ahead of the Cardinals, but that's just the way I see it. It's not that the Reds are that much worse than the Cardinals, which I don't think they're quite as good. Hence, that's why they're not as good, record-wise. But it seems like the Cardinals have their number. They're kind of their kryptonite, and they always find find the ways to outlast the St. Louis Reds or beat them head-to-head. Hence, that's why I think that the Cardinals will finish ahead of the Reds. So just to backtrack a little bit, number 1, Braves, number 2, Dodgers, number 3, Pirates, number 4, Cardinals, number 5, Reds. Just to add, something, I think the Diamondbacks and the Nationals are both nearly 7 games back of the wild card. So those two teams, the Cardinals and the Reds, not a lot of competition there. So I just wanted to add that in because that's in the standings. So I thank you for watching. Check out the AL portion of this video as well. I'd love to debate with you guys, discuss with you guys. So thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for my channel.